All right. So in my inaugural book, the book that I wrote in 2004, I actually wrote 5 of these books before I eventually wrote the final one. And at this time, it was like 2003 or something like that. I had not understood this very powerful concept that says you don't have to be a writer to be an author. I had the authority of the subject, but I forced and became a writer, which was like a big hoo-ha. Now, here's a fascinating thing. This is not the South African or the African version. It's the Chinese version because everything starts this way. So it goes exactly the way that Chinese says, write their books, which is quite fascinating. So it is going to be a big seller in China if I just take the cover and put it this side. So in this book, I shared principle number 4, which is building your dream team. Now, this whole concept that I'm sharing with you is based on this concept. Now, this concept, I'm just going to show you so that as we go through these lessons, you can see what it means. The first one was SWOT analysis, which I shared with you how you do it and where does it begin. It begins in your wheel of life. The second one, we're going to talk about identifying, engagement, comparative analysis, validation, ignite, unite, and unleash. So this process, it's a framework that you use to build a very powerful and cohesive team behind you so that you become successful very sustainably. And by the way, you don't change this team at a whiff. These are people that you move years with. But there's going to have to be somebody who becomes your ultimate anchor, that becomes either your mentor or your paid coach. I'm going to say it again. Your paid coach, somebody that you pay to become your coach, and his or her responsibility will be to make sure that you're able to use this team that you're going to assemble in a very successful way. So the lessons are going to begin, but remember, it's based on my inaugural book, and this is the Chinese version, which move the other way around. All right. So like I've shared with you that this is a holistic look at your life. So this is what your life is all about. And by the way, in this 6, there'll be, finer little things, much more deeper detail. That's okay. But I'm looking at it at a very global level so that you can understand. Now, let's assume that you have either read my book or you have watched this video. So what I want you to do is I want you to really sit down and write these things, the 6, the way that I've put them, write them in a piece of paper, and properly, if you are individual, do it on your own, and look at, what are your educational strengths? Do you have a degree, diploma, whatever, what your strengths are? What are the weaknesses? What are the opportunities that are there for you to grow? And what threatens your educational growth? You do the same. What are your financial strengths? What are your financial weaknesses? What are your financial opportunities? What are your financial threats? You do exactly the same for everything. Once you have done that, then it will give you a sense of where you are with your life. Then you're going to say to yourself, it's very interesting. I've got a degree, I'm studying for my honors or my masters, but man, I'm in debt. Here I'm not, I'm minus actually. I'm not even 1. I'm minus. I'm seriously in debt. My health and wellness, or like I'm saying, we're all struggling with health and wellness. And health and wellness doesn't mean you've got to have a 6-pack. Doesn't mean that you're going to have to be faster like Usain Bolt. It just means that your BMI, your body mass index, must be within, if it's not bad, if it's bad, just a little bit over, but not like completely, off the charts. So you've got to look at that. And again, your social and recreational. Now, the fascinating thing about me being a South African, being an African first and a South African second, is I can speak over 14 languages. And why can I speak over 14 languages? Well, it's a choice that I made. Number one, it was a choice that I made because I grew up in a very multicultural environment where I had to learn other people's languages. But I grew up with the same people that had never had the inclination to learn other people's languages because of their attitude towards those languages. Again, cultural critic versus intercultural intelligence. So I chose to learn other people's languages. So I can go into many parts of the world, France, China, and feel conversant within those kind of people. South Africa, all South African languages. So my social and recreational, I play golf, I connect with people, I do boating, I do a lot of these kind of social things. Now, ethical, I do the best that I can to become ethical. Every business deal that I get into, it has to be defined how the deal is going to work, who brings in the deal. And the golden rule in life is there's the rainmaker's fee. Somebody comes to me and says, hey, I've got this deal for you. And I'll first ask them, is this deal legitimate? Is it within the precept of ethical behavior? If they say yes, I say, what? Because you found me the deal, I'm going to give you a rainmaker's fee. And the rainmaker's fee is 10%, which is a global standard when somebody gives you business. But if somebody says to me, I've got a deal for you, but my cousin is the HR manager, HR director, and then he's got an aunt who's the one that is married to this one, we've got to give this one 5%, that one 10%, another one 20%, immediately the conversation is dead. I'm not interested in getting into that kind of conversation. That's a choice of my life. That's it. And then it comes to spirituality. Like I'm saying, there's Buddhism, there's Judaism, there's Islam, there's Christianity. In all brands of Christianity, African spirituality, charismatic, Baptist, and you name it. Well, people usually say that it's between man and his God. I guess in spirituality, it's also between me and my God. But I'm a deeply spiritual person, not religious person. Again, that's another debate, that's another long conversation, because I don't believe in religion. I believe in a relationship between me and my maker, which is inspired by Jesus Christ, who's in the middle of that relationship. That's my thing, which I don't force upon other people. I just share it with other people and see if it cannot transform them or help them to see things differently, but I never ever force it upon other people. So this is the basic tenet of where we begin. So if you have taken your time and done a SWOT analysis, you now have something that looks like this. Maybe yours is the other way around or the other way around, I'm not too sure. So all of us were somewhere based on where our lives is. If you're too young, these are the two big things that you're going to be chasing: education and finance. Family, you're still living under your parents. Health, you're still healthy because you're young. Socially, most young people are highly sociable. And then ethical, well, because you live within a family, you follow the rules of the family. If you are married, you still have to do this, but when you're married or when you're in a partnership or a relationship that's going to culminate into a marriage, you cannot do this on your own, because this leads you to building a vision for yourself and for your partner. So therefore, it must be an exercise that you undertake jointly. Now, I'm saying this in the simplistic way possible, but here's the truth. This is not simple, not by a long shot. I have coached people, I have worked with people who, and it's a fact of life, I cannot get into any coaching relationship with anybody until we've gone through this and asking other much more deeper questions to understand where they're going. Because how and where do I get you where you want to go? We will look at this holistically, and then you say, this is where my focus is in my career. Then we'll look in your career based on this background, because we can't look at it individually, where you spend a lot of your time in your career and your family suffers. We can't do that. So everything that you do has to be holistic. So like I'm saying, I take it for granted that you've seen the first video. I take it for granted that you've taken your time to do this. Now, there are some guys out there that have also designed software that can help you do this much easier. We live in a world of open source. So you can go online and search for a Wheel of Life, analytical tool, whatever. I'm sure somebody has designed it. You'll find it. Do the numbers, and I hope it's accurate and doesn't cost you money, but it's important for you to get to understand where you are. Because once you know where you are, then the conversation begins to become different, because then we'll say to ourselves, now the game begins to change. And how does the game begin to change? Because we then follow the 5 principles that I have worked through very thorough to make sure that you become a great beneficiary of this process. So I'm going to stop here, and I'm saying, I hope that you've done this and that you are happy. When I'm saying happy, I'm not saying happy in the sense that you are 100%. I'm saying happy in the sense that you have applied yourself. And what you have on paper is a true reflection of your life. Because if it's not a true reflection of your life, I'm very sorry. You can tell anybody else lies. You can spin things to other people, but you cannot spin things to yourself, because ultimately this becomes a reflection of you and who you become. Catch you on the next video, where we begin with our first step in assisting you to build a dream team that will help you to create success, but not only success, but sustainability.